Hello again, Year 7. This is the dirt video from your spring review. It's for everybody, even if you didn't do the test yourself or you weren't able to upload it successfully on forms. This review is still for you because it will give you hints and tips to make reading questions better and to help you feel more confident next time you have a test. And I know this isn't easy because it's the first time I did an online test, so well done to everybody that did it. These are not the answers to every single question, it's just the most common mistakes because those are the things that we obviously need to work on as a class. There is not a do now, but there is a task at the end to email through to me. So let's go. Right. We've got a couple of vocabulary terms that we obviously need to get a little bit clearer. Now, question 2 asks us, what do we call the upward force that helps things float? The answer should have been upthrust. You've got two forces here. You can have a look at the image on the right hand side. You've got gravity, which is pushing the boat down. Thank goodness that is balanced, otherwise boats wouldn't be very safe. We've got upthrust, counteracting the gravity, and it actually needs to equal the gravity in order for the boat to float. Lots of you put the word buoyancy because that is the word that was used a lot in our marine engineering at workshop, which we enjoyed so much when we made the boats that had to hold the most marbles. But buoyancy is the property that comes from the upthrust counteracting the gravity. Buoyancy is what you see as a result of the upthrust force. You can't see forces very easily. You often can see the result of them. Okay, second piece of vocabulary. We were so nearly there on that. Question was, what is velocity? And lots of you had the answer speed. Now, speed is a motion. It can be any direction, not only one direction. Favourite cheesy joke coming out there again. But velocity is actually speed in a direction. So it might be north, it might be east, it might be southwest. And you needed to have the part in a direction to get the mark to this for this question. Science is quite precise, as we know. Fussy, you might like to say. I like to say precise. So we're going to practice this precision. Okie dokie. Question 7. We needed to say what 3 things can change if forces are unbalanced. And there were 3 marks of this. If you got 2 of them right, so there should be 2 marks. 2 marks, 3 forces. If you got 2 of them right, you would get 1 mark, but you had to have all 3 correct to gain both marks. Most people got speed and direction. Lots of people missed out shape. Now we're thinking about our practical we did on balanced and unbalanced forces, and we had stress balls that you could squash, we had elastic bands you could stretch, and with both of those, when you had the unbalanced force, the shape of the object was changing. That's your examples. Okay, so that's one we need to be careful of. Next one, also vocabulary related. What is a pollinator, for 1 mark? Now loads of you did great answers giving examples of pollinators, but the question actually wants you to explain what the word means. It doesn't ask for an example. Give an example of a pollinator would mean you name a bee or a wasp or a beetle, but this is asking what is a pollinator. So the answer should have been an insect or animal which carries pollen from plant to plant, and it needs the fact that it goes from one plant to another to get the full mark as well. It's not just carrying pollen, because you could carry it to Tesco's and that wouldn't pollinate anything. It needs to be moving between plants because pollen is the male sex cell and it needs to move from one plant to the female parts of another plant. That's something we'll be coming up with in Year 8, so we'll get ourselves ahead there. Always good to be ahead of the game. Now, long questions you need to read carefully is the next section. It's very easy with a long question to read the start of it and then miss out what follows on, which actually gains you as many marks. So question 17, said the drawing shows a picture of a fish. I haven't put that in because I'm sure we all know what a fish looks like. And it said to describe how the fish is suited to swimming. Now, describe is something we actually call a command word in science. So describe means it is telling you to say a bit about those features. And first of all, you need to identify the features, and then you have to explain, double check and make sure it's only the features suited to swimming, not every feature of a fish. So you wouldn't have the scales on it. You could have, it's got a smooth body rather than scales. You could say it's got a streamlined shape. Both of those help it to swim. You could say that it has fins. You could say that it has a powerful or a flat tail, not just a tail on its own, because a peacock has a tail and that does not help it to swim. And you could say that it has gills. Gills help it swim because they allow it to breathe underwater. So if you said gills for breathing, that wouldn't help. If you do want to put extra detail in, you would have to say gills for breathing underwater. And again, it is about being precise. And I know this is a bit tricky when you're in year 7, especially as we haven't had very many of our usual SAM ward assessments this year. We started the year with GL assessments, which are a bit more similar to SATs, but you're getting the feedback to help you because not very long now, you'll be in year 8 and you'll have more of these. And the more feedback and the more help you get, the better you will be. And this is all about helping you to get better. So let's have a look at the next question. Question 18. The drawing shows a blue whale. Again, I haven't included it because we all know what a whale looks like. A long time ago, people thought the blue whale was a fish. Linking to the previous question, we know that it's in water, so as a fish, that's why they thought it. Now we know that the blue whale is a mammal. Key word here is a mammal. Give one way, mammals are different from fish. You needed to know here what a mammal is like, what a fish is like. And the answer will be comparing mammals and fish, not just a whale. So you can't just say something about a whale. You have to give away that it's different. You could have chosen it's warm-blooded. That means the body keeps its temperature pretty constant. Fish do not regulate their body temperature comes from the water surrounding them. You could say that they breathe air or they have lungs. Air is a gas. When you have fish in the water, they're breathing dissolved gas, not quite the same. You could say they give birth. Fish lay eggs. Mammals have babies, just like cats, dogs and humans. You could say they feed their young on milk, which again is something that only mammals do. You could say they have hair or fur. You can't really see it on the whale, so that probably isn't something you would think of. But these are all possibilities. Next question is your dirt task, so everybody will need to do this. Here we go. Really exciting and cool. I have linked this task to our current topic of common chemical reactions. So, on the left, in black, some real facts. Henning Brand was a German scientist who tried to find a philosopher's stone which would turn ordinary metals into gold. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you'll have heard about philosopher's stones already. Slightly grim way he did it though. He heated urine, that's we to you and me, until glowing fumes and a liquid came out. The liquid was cooled and that gave a new element called phosphorus. This happened back around 1669, so we're talking a long time ago, nearly 400 years ago. The last bit is the bit you need to answer. Name 2 signs that a chemical reaction had occurred. Now, I've been very kind and giving you some hints on the right. First of all, you need to name 2 things. That's from reading the question. It says here in the last line, name 2 signs. These need to be evidence of a chemical reaction. So the fact that he's called Henning Brand is not proof of a chemical reaction. I'm going to give you that tip now. You do not need to read Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone to answer this question. Just saying, you might want to read it anyway for English, but you're not going to need to read it for science. So your answer to this question needs to be sent to me on Teams in the assignment space or via email so that I know you've watched this video. Now you will have noticed that the whole question is written in nice grammatically correct sentences properly punctuated. So, hey, guess what? Your answer also needs to be in nice, correct grammatical sentences that have the correct punctuation, capital letters and full stops. Shouldn't need to remind you, but I'm doing it because I am so kind. So that is your dirt task to do at the end. You should also have made notes about the vocabulary as you go along. There will be another mini video for this week's chemical reactions work, but this one is going out first because I want you to have done this dirt task before you look at the other video. Any questions? You know where to find me. Have a great week. Watch out for your next video and stay safe.